I am proud to create him Prince of Wales, Tywysog Cymru, the country whose title I've been so greatly privileged to bear.
At first, it sounded like a routine royal precaution, the kind of quiet administrative decision that rarely escapes the walls of Buckingham Palace. Yet as reports began circulating that Catherine, Princess of Wales, had been entrusted with responsibilities connected to some of the monarchy's most treasured symbols, royal watchers noticed something impossible to ignore. Why Catherine? Why now? And could this decision reveal a much larger story about the future of the royal family than anyone has been told? For months, one question has hovered over nearly every major development involving the British monarchy. What exactly is happening behind the scenes as King Charles III continues to balance royal duties while undergoing cancer treatment? Official updates from Buckingham Palace have consistently emphasized optimism and progress, yet royal observers have noticed something equally important unfolding alongside those public statements. Responsibility, influence, and visibility appear to be shifting in ways that many experts believe deserve closer attention. When King Charles III revealed his cancer diagnosis in early 2024, the announcement immediately transformed the royal conversation. The diagnosis emerged following treatment for what had initially been described as a separate medical issue, and although Buckingham Palace confirmed that the condition was not prostate cancer, the palace chose not to disclose the exact form of cancer involved. That decision, while understandable from a privacy standpoint, left many unanswered questions. As a result, every subsequent royal decision began attracting a level of scrutiny that might not have existed under normal circumstances. What makes this especially interesting is that the story is not simply about King Charles III's health. In many ways, the more fascinating development involves how the institution itself has responded. Monarchies are designed around continuity. They are built to ensure that leadership, symbolism, and public confidence survive regardless of individual circumstances. Whenever uncertainty emerges around a reigning monarch, preparations often begin long before the public becomes aware of them. That is why some royal commentators believe recent developments involving Prince William, the future king, and Catherine, Princess of Wales, deserve far more attention than they have received. Think about it for a moment. If the palace truly viewed recent events as temporary concerns with no long-term implications, would there be any reason to gradually expand the responsibilities of Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales? Or are royal officials quietly preparing the public for a future that may arrive sooner than expected? That question becomes even more intriguing when examining one of the most significant decisions made by King Charles III in recent years. In 2025, Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, were granted authority to issue royal warrants, one of the monarchy's most respected forms of endorsement. To many outside the United Kingdom, this may have appeared ceremonial. In reality, it represented something much larger. Royal warrants carry enormous influence, affecting businesses, brands, and organizations that receive official royal recognition. Historically, such authority has been closely linked to the highest levels of royal standing. What caught attention was not merely the decision itself, but who received that authority. Catherine, Princess of Wales, became the first Princess of Wales in generations to hold such a position. For many royal historians, that was not just another administrative change. It looked like a deliberate signal. And here's where the story becomes even more compelling. Royal institutions rarely communicate only through speeches. Sometimes they communicate through symbolism. Sometimes they communicate through appearances. And sometimes they communicate through the people they choose to trust. Over the past several years, Catherine, Princess of Wales, has increasingly appeared at the center of major royal moments. Historic ceremonies, diplomatic receptions, state banquets, and nationally significant events have all featured a more prominent role for Catherine, Princess of Wales. Each appearance may seem ordinary when viewed individually. Yet when examined together, they begin to form a pattern that many royal watchers find difficult to dismiss. Could this pattern simply reflect Catherine, Princess of Wales, growing naturally into her position? Or does it suggest something more intentional is taking place behind palace doors? One moment in particular sparked considerable discussion. During a major state banquet, Catherine, Princess of Wales, appeared wearing a historic tiara that had remained largely absent from public view for years. To casual observers, it was a beautiful piece of jewelry. To experienced royal historians, however, it represented something much deeper. Royal jewels are not selected randomly. Many carry generations of symbolism connected to queens, succession, and continuity. When Catherine, Princess of Wales, appeared wearing treasures traditionally associated with senior royal figures, some commentators interpreted the choice as an unmistakable vote of confidence from within the institution itself. Yet even that may not be the most important part of the story. Because if Catherine, Princess of Wales, is being trusted with increasingly significant responsibilities, and if Prince William continues, moving closer to the center of royal leadership, then another question naturally follows. Are these merely isolated decisions, or are they pieces of a much larger strategy designed to secure the future of the monarchy during a period of uncertainty? The answer may lie not in public speeches, official statements, or palace announcements, but in something far more powerful, symbols that have represented royal authority for centuries. And when we look closely at those symbols, particularly the crown jewels themselves, an entirely new layer of this mystery begins to emerge. Before we explore why those treasures matter so much, there is another detail that many people have overlooked, and it may completely change how this entire story is understood. If Catherine, Princess of Wales, is truly being positioned at the center of this transition, what does that reveal about the future King William and the monarchy that could soon take shape? Before we continue, if you enjoy thoughtful royal analysis that goes beyond the headlines and explores the deeper forces shaping the royal family, take a moment to subscribe to the channel and join our growing community. Because what comes next may be the most revealing part of the entire story. If the reports surrounding Catherine, Princess of Wales, are accurate, then the conversation is no longer simply about jewels, ceremonial duties, or even King Charles III's health. The conversation becomes something much larger. It becomes a question about trust. Because throughout royal history, there has been one principle that has rarely changed. The most important responsibilities inside the monarchy are not given to the most popular figures, they are given to the figures considered most dependable when the institution faces uncertainty. That is precisely why so many royal observers continue returning to the same question. Why does Catherine, Princess of Wales, appear to be receiving levels of responsibility that traditionally emerge much later in a royal career? And perhaps even more importantly, what does Buckingham Palace believe about the future that the public does not yet fully understand? To answer that question, it helps to move beyond headlines and examine the extraordinary significance of the crown jewels themselves. Many people imagine the collection as a tourist attraction housed within the Tower of London, admired by visitors and photographed in guidebooks. Yet for the royal family, the crown jewels represent something entirely different. These treasures are physical symbols of legitimacy, continuity, and authority. Every coronation crown, every ceremonial scepter, and every historic gemstone serves as a visible reminder that the monarchy connects centuries of British history into a single, uninterrupted narrative. When King Charles III was crowned, the ceremony was not merely celebrating one individual. The ceremony linked King Charles III to monarchs stretching back hundreds of years. The regalia used during that event carried the weight of generations. That is why discussions involving stewardship of those symbols inevitably attract attention. Protecting these objects means protecting the story of the monarchy itself. But here is where the situation becomes increasingly fascinating. According to commentators who have followed royal transitions for decades, institutions often reveal their future priorities long before they formally announce them. Instead of issuing dramatic declarations, royal households tend to communicate through gradual changes in visibility, responsibility, and symbolism. When viewed through that lens, several developments involving Catherine, Princess of Wales, begin to look remarkably connected. Consider the timeline. Catherine, Princess of Wales, successfully returned to public duties following her own cancer treatment journey. Catherine, Princess of Wales, resumed major appearances carefully, steadily, and without attempting to dominate headlines. Yet almost immediately afterward, Catherine, Princess of Wales, began appearing at some of the monarchy's most important state occasions. Historic jewels associated with senior royal women returned to public view. International coverage intensified. Public approval remained exceptionally strong. At the same time, Prince William, the future king, continued assuming larger leadership responsibilities within the royal family. Could all of this simply be coincidence? Or are royal planners deliberately strengthening public familiarity with the couple expected to lead the monarchy's next chapter? What do you think? If Buckingham Palace wanted to prepare the public psychologically for a future transition, would Buckingham Palace do it through announcements, or through a gradual process that unfolds almost unnoticed over several years? That question becomes even more interesting when examining the unique position occupied by Catherine, Princess of Wales. Unlike many royal figures throughout history, Catherine, Princess of Wales, entered the institution as an outsider. Kate Middleton did not grow up surrounded by royal protocol. Kate Middleton did not inherit a title at birth. Yet over time, Catherine, Princess of Wales, transformed from a university student known primarily as Prince William's partner into one of the most respected members of the royal family. That transformation did not happen because of a single event. It happened because Catherine, Princess of Wales, consistently demonstrated qualities that royal institutions value above almost everything else: patience, stability, discipline, reliability, the ability to perform public duties without creating unnecessary controversy, the ability to represent the monarchy while keeping attention focused on the institution rather than the individual. Royal historians frequently note that such qualities are often more valuable than charisma alone. Popularity can rise and fall. Headlines come and go. Public opinion shifts. Yet institutions survive through consistency. Catherine, Princess of Wales, has increasingly become associated with exactly that quality. And this brings us to another layer of the story that many viewers may not have considered. Whenever discussions about the future of the monarchy emerge, attention naturally focuses on Prince William, the future king. Yet modern monarchies rarely function through a single individual. Successful royal transitions often depend upon partnerships. King George VI and Queen Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, each era developed around a central partnership that helped reinforce public confidence. Could Buckingham Palace view Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, in a similar way? Some royal commentators believe that may already be happening. According to several observers, Catherine, Princess of Wales, has evolved into one of the institution's most valuable assets precisely because Catherine, Princess of Wales, appeals across multiple generations simultaneously. Older audiences often admire Catherine, Princess of Wales, for a sense of duty and continuity. Younger audiences frequently connect with Catherine, Princess of Wales, through family-focused initiatives, charitable work, and a more contemporary public image. If that assessment is correct, then the growing prominence of Catherine, Princess of Wales, may not simply be about current responsibilities. It may be about future stability, and stability has become an increasingly important word within royal circles. King Charles III continues carrying out duties while managing ongoing treatment. Prince William continues representing the crown at major engagements. Catherine, Princess of Wales, continues returning to an increasingly visible public role. Meanwhile, discussions about succession, continuity, and preparation continue circulating among royal commentators. Yet there remains one part of the story that nobody seems able to explain fully. If Catherine, Princess of Wales, is being trusted with responsibilities connected to symbols of royal continuity, where does that leave Queen Camilla? Why has so much attention shifted toward the Princess of Wales rather than remaining focused on the current queen? And could the answer reveal something even more significant about how Buckingham Palace views the monarchy's next generation? Before we continue, if you are enjoying this deep dive into the future of the royal family and want more long-form royal analysis that explores the stories behind the headlines, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest discussions. Because the question involving Queen Camilla may be far more important than most people realize, and what comes next could completely change the way this entire royal story is interpreted. The question surrounding Queen Camilla is where this story begins to move beyond symbolism and into the complicated realities of royal succession planning. Because if reports are accurate and Catherine, Princess of Wales, is gradually being trusted with responsibilities connected to some of the monarchy's most important symbols, then many observers naturally arrive at the same conclusion. Why would Buckingham Palace focus so much attention on Catherine, Princess of Wales, when Queen Camilla currently holds the highest-ranking female position within the royal family? At first glance, the answer seems obvious. Queen Camilla is the wife of King Charles III. Queen Camilla performs official duties, represents the crown at major events, and has spent years building public acceptance following one of the most challenging image transformations in modern royal history. Yet despite Queen Camilla's important role, discussions about the future almost always return to Prince William, the future king, and Catherine, Princess of Wales. That distinction may reveal more than any palace statement ever could. The modern monarchy is not merely concerned with the present moment. Every major institution thinks decades ahead. Every strategic decision is evaluated not only for today's impact, but for its effect on future stability. When viewed through that lens, the importance of Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, becomes easier to understand. The monarchy's long-term future does not ultimately rest with King Charles III and Queen Camilla. The monarchy's future rests with Prince William, the future king, and Catherine, Princess of Wales, the future queen consort. Could that reality explain why Catherine, Princess of Wales, appears to be receiving increasing levels of trust? Could Buckingham Palace already be concentrating its efforts on strengthening the public image of the next royal era rather than the current one? What do you think? If you were responsible for protecting a 1,000-year-old institution, would your attention focus primarily on today's leadership or on the leadership expected to guide the next generation? That question becomes even more fascinating when examining how Catherine, Princess of Wales, has navigated some of the most difficult challenges of recent years. Unlike many public figures who emerge from crises seeking sympathy or attention, Catherine, Princess of Wales, often adopted a remarkably restrained approach. When Catherine, Princess of Wales, announced a cancer diagnosis and began treatment, the news generated worldwide concern. For months, speculation dominated headlines. Every public absence created new theories. Every photograph sparked new debates. Yet when Catherine, Princess of Wales, eventually returned to public life, the return itself seemed carefully measured. There were no dramatic declarations. There were no attempts to dominate the news cycle. Instead, Catherine, Princess of Wales, resumed duties gradually, reinforcing an image that many royal commentators describe as one of calm resilience rather than spectacle. That image matters more than many people realize. Historically, monarchies survive periods of uncertainty when the public sees dependable figures waiting in the wings. During times of transition, stability becomes one of the institution's most valuable assets. Increasingly, royal analysts argue that Catherine, Princess of Wales, has become a symbol of precisely that quality. And that brings us to another intriguing detail. Over the past decade, Catherine, Princess of Wales, has achieved something very few members of the royal family have managed. Catherine, Princess of Wales, has become popular without appearing political. Catherine, Princess of Wales, has remained visible without becoming controversial. Catherine, Princess of Wales, has maintained relevance without constantly seeking attention. Those qualities may sound simple, but within modern public life, they are remarkably difficult to achieve. Many public figures rise rapidly and fall just as quickly. Popularity often fluctuates with headlines, social media trends, or political debates. Yet Catherine, Princess of Wales, has maintained consistently strong public approval across multiple years, multiple governments, and multiple phases of royal life. For Buckingham Palace, that kind of consistency represents something extraordinarily valuable. Could that be why responsibilities appear to be expanding? Because if the institution sees Catherine, Princess of Wales, as one of its strongest public assets, then assigning greater visibility to Catherine, Princess of Wales, would not simply be symbolic. It would be strategic. Yet there is another layer to this story that makes the situation even more complicated. Whenever discussions about royal futures emerge, another branch of the family inevitably enters the conversation. Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, and Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex, continue to attract enormous global attention despite stepping back from senior royal duties. Every development involving Prince Harry and Meghan Markle inevitably shapes broader conversations about the monarchy's direction. Interestingly, the growing prominence of Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, has often been interpreted as part of a broader effort to reinforce the institution's central leadership structure. While Prince Harry and Meghan Markle continue building lives and careers outside the traditional royal framework, Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, increasingly represent continuity within the framework itself. Whether intentional or not, that contrast has become one of the defining themes of the modern royal family. On one side stands Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, figures associated with change, independence, and a different vision of public life. On the other side stand Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, figures often associated with continuity, duty, and institutional stability. Could that contrast be influencing how Buckingham Palace allocates responsibility? Could the increasing prominence of Catherine, Princess of Wales, partly reflect a desire to strengthen confidence in the monarchy's future leadership? Many royal watchers believe that possibility cannot be dismissed. And then there is the issue of timing. Timing is often one of the most revealing aspects of royal decision-making. Actions that appear ordinary in one context can take on entirely different meanings in another. A responsibility, granted during a period of stability, may be viewed one way. The same responsibility, granted during a period of health concerns, succession discussions, and institutional uncertainty, may be interpreted very differently. That is precisely why reports surrounding Catherine, Princess of Wales, continue generating such intense discussion. The conversation is no longer just about jewels, ceremonies, or protocol. The conversation has evolved into a debate about preparation. Preparation for what, however, remains the unanswered question. Is Buckingham Palace simply ensuring that Catherine, Princess of Wales, is ready for responsibilities that will naturally arrive years from now? Or is Buckingham Palace preparing for developments that may arrive much sooner than many people expect? Before we continue, if you are enjoying this exploration of the royal family's future and want more deep-dive royal documentaries that examine the stories behind the headlines, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Your support helps us continue uncovering the details that often go unnoticed. Because the deeper we examine this story, the more another mystery begins to emerge. The real issue may not be whether Catherine, Princess of Wales, has been entrusted with extraordinary responsibility. The real issue may be why royal insiders seem so confident that Catherine, Princess of Wales, was always destined for this role. And when we look back at the remarkable journey from Kate Middleton to future Queen, a series of clues begins to appear that may have been hiding in plain sight all along. If Catherine, Princess of Wales, appears perfectly positioned for this moment today, the real question may not be whether Buckingham Palace trusts Catherine, Princess of Wales, now. The more fascinating question is whether Buckingham Palace has been preparing Catherine, Princess of Wales, for this role for far longer than the public ever realized. Because when royal historians look back across the last 2 decades, a remarkable pattern begins to emerge. And once that pattern becomes visible, many recent developments start looking far less surprising. Long before Catherine, Princess of Wales, became one of the most recognized women in the world, Kate Middleton was navigating an environment unlike almost anything modern public life can produce. From the moment Prince William's relationship with Kate Middleton became public knowledge, extraordinary pressure followed. Every appearance generated headlines. Every outfit became news. Every decision invited scrutiny. Yet what stands out when examining that period is not the attention itself, but how Catherine, Princess of Wales, responded to it. Rather than rushing toward the spotlight, Kate Middleton often appeared remarkably comfortable, allowing time to work in her favor. While many public figures attempt to shape every narrative immediately, Catherine, Princess of Wales, gradually built credibility through consistency. Year after year, Catherine, Princess of Wales, demonstrated an ability to endure intense public attention without creating unnecessary instability around the institution Prince William was destined to inherit. Could that patience have been one of the qualities that ultimately earned such extraordinary trust within the royal household? Think about it from the perspective of Buckingham Palace. If you were evaluating future leadership for one of the world's oldest institutions, would you prioritize short-term popularity, or would you prioritize someone capable of remaining steady through decades of changing circumstances? That question becomes even more important when considering the difficult years the royal family has experienced recently. The passing of Queen Elizabeth II marked the end of an era unlike any other. For more than 70 years, Queen Elizabeth II represented continuity for millions of people around the world. When Queen Elizabeth II died, the monarchy faced the enormous challenge of transitioning into a completely new chapter under King Charles III. Transitions of that scale are never simple. Every institution experiences moments when public confidence must be reinforced. During such periods, symbolic figures become critically important. Royal commentators frequently argue that Catherine, Princess of Wales, emerged as one of those figures precisely when stability was needed most. While King Charles III assumed the responsibilities of monarch and Prince William adapted to the role of heir apparent, Catherine, Princess of Wales, increasingly became associated with continuity, reassurance, and a sense of calm leadership. What makes this particularly interesting is that the transformation happened gradually enough that many people barely noticed it occurring. One year, Catherine, Princess of Wales, was attending major state events. Another year, Catherine, Princess of Wales, was representing the royal family during increasingly significant diplomatic occasions. Then Catherine, Princess of Wales, began receiving privileges and responsibilities previously associated with more senior royal positions. None of these moments appeared revolutionary on their own. Yet together, those moments created a picture of a royal figure steadily moving toward the center of institutional life. And that brings us to a detail that may be even more revealing than royal titles or ceremonial responsibilities. Influence. Not political influence. Not constitutional power. Cultural influence. Over the years, Catherine, Princess of Wales, has developed a level of cultural influence that extends far beyond traditional royal audiences. The so-called Kate effect has become a recognized phenomenon across fashion, retail, media, and public engagement. Whenever Catherine, Princess of Wales, appears wearing a particular designer, interest often surges. Whenever Catherine, Princess of Wales, highlights a charitable initiative, public awareness frequently increases. Whenever Catherine, Princess of Wales, participates in a major public event, global media coverage follows. For Buckingham Palace, that influence represents something extremely valuable. Modern monarchies survive not only through tradition but through relevance. The challenge facing every modern royal institution is finding ways to remain connected to contemporary audiences without abandoning historical identity. Many observers believe Catherine, Princess of Wales, has become one of the monarchy's most effective bridges between those two worlds. Could that explain why Catherine, Princess of Wales, appears increasingly connected to symbols of royal continuity? After all, what good are historic treasures if younger generations stop caring about them? What good are centuries-old traditions if nobody feels connected to their meaning? When Catherine, Princess of Wales, wears historic jewels, participates in state ceremonies, or appears alongside Prince William, the future king, those symbols suddenly become part of a contemporary story. Ancient traditions become visible again. Historic objects regain relevance. Institutional continuity becomes easier for modern audiences to understand. That may be one reason why some royal observers view recent developments as part of a larger strategy rather than isolated decisions. Yet there is another layer to this story that deserves attention. Throughout royal history, some of the most successful future queens shared one common characteristic. Public trust arrived before formal authority. In other words, institutions often function best when the public accepts future leaders long before those leaders officially assume their highest roles. By the time a transition occurs, familiarity already exists. Confidence already exists. Expectations have already been shaped. Could Buckingham Palace be following a similar model today? If Prince William eventually becomes king, Catherine, Princess of Wales, will occupy one of the most important positions within the monarchy. From that perspective, increasing visibility now may not be preparation for an immediate transition. It may simply be preparation for a future that Buckingham Palace considers inevitable. But that explanation creates another mystery. If everything unfolding today is merely long-term preparation, why do so many reports emphasize urgency? Why do discussions repeatedly return to King Charles III's health? Why do commentators continue suggesting that contingency planning may be accelerating behind palace walls? Those questions remain unanswered, and unanswered questions often become the most important questions of all. What do you think? Are royal observers reading too much into these developments, or do the growing responsibilities of Catherine, Princess of Wales reveal a carefully managed transition already underway? Before we continue, if you are enjoying this deep exploration of the royal family and want more documentary-style royal stories that uncover the hidden dynamics behind major headlines, take a moment to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Your support helps us continue bringing you thoughtful royal analysis that goes beyond the obvious. Because the deeper the story goes, the less it seems to be about jewels, titles, or ceremonies. The real story may be about timing. And when we examine the timing of King Charles III's decisions alongside the expanding role of Catherine, Princess of Wales, a final and potentially explosive question begins to emerge. Is Buckingham Palace simply preparing for the future, or is Buckingham Palace preparing for a future that may arrive much sooner than anyone expected? That question leads directly to the speculation, the constitutional realities, and the extraordinary possibilities that have royal watchers paying closer attention than ever before. And this is where the story reaches its most intriguing point, because after examining the expanding role of Catherine, Princess of Wales, the increasing responsibilities of Prince William, the future king, and the continuing health challenges facing King Charles III, one question still refuses to disappear. Is the royal family simply planning responsibly for the future, or are these developments signaling that the future is already being quietly organized behind palace walls? The truth is that two very different interpretations now exist. The first interpretation is the more cautious one. According to many constitutional experts, everything we have discussed can be explained through normal royal planning. King Charles III remains monarch. Buckingham Palace continues to operate as expected. Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, are naturally receiving greater responsibilities because that is exactly what happens as heirs move closer to their eventual roles. Under this interpretation, the reports surrounding royal symbols, historic jewels, and expanding authority do not represent an immediate transition. Instead, they represent sensible preparation for a future that may still be years away. But there is a second interpretation that continues attracting attention among royal watchers. According to some commentators, the pace of recent developments appears unusually significant. King Charles III continues undergoing treatment. Prince William increasingly represents the crown during major engagements. Catherine, Princess of Wales, has become one of the most trusted and visible figures within the royal family. Historic privileges have expanded. Symbolic responsibilities have grown. Public appearances increasingly place Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, at the center of the monarchy's public image. When viewed together, some observers believe these developments resemble preparation not for a distant future, but for a future that Buckingham Palace may want to be ready for at any moment. So what do you think? Are royal observers reading too much into routine succession planning, or do the actions of King Charles III suggest that important groundwork is already being laid behind the scenes? What makes this debate especially fascinating is that both interpretations can point to the same facts while reaching very different conclusions. That is often how royal mysteries work. The monarchy rarely explains every decision in real time. Instead, meaning is often discovered only years later, when historians look back and connect events that once seemed unrelated. And perhaps that is exactly why the story of Catherine, Princess of Wales, has captured so much attention. Not because Catherine, Princess of Wales, suddenly appeared at the center of royal life. Not because Kate Middleton unexpectedly became one of the institution's most trusted figures, but because the journey itself now appears remarkably consistent. Looking back, there are signs that Catherine, Princess of Wales, was gradually being prepared for greater responsibility for many years. The patience, the discipline, the careful public image, the growing visibility at major state occasions, the trust shown by senior members of the royal family. Each development may have seemed ordinary at the time. Together, however, those developments tell a much larger story. A story about preparation, a story about continuity, and perhaps a story about the next chapter of the monarchy. What remains impossible to know with certainty is exactly when that next chapter will begin. Only King Charles III, Buckingham Palace, and a small circle of senior advisors truly understand the full picture. Publicly, the message remains clear. King Charles III continues serving as monarch. Prince William continues supporting the crown. Catherine, Princess of Wales, continues carrying out royal duties. Those are the confirmed facts. Yet the questions remain. Why has Catherine, Princess of Wales, become such a central figure at this particular moment? Why do reports about royal responsibilities continue generating such intense discussion? And why do so many royal observers believe the future queen is already assuming a role far larger than many people realize? Those questions may not have definitive answers today, but they will undoubtedly shape conversations about the royal family for years to come. And now we would love to hear your perspective. Do you believe King Charles III is simply making responsible preparations for the future of the monarchy? Or do you believe the growing prominence of Prince William, the future king, and Catherine, Princess of Wales, points to a larger transition already taking shape behind the scenes? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because this is one of the most fascinating royal debates unfolding today, and your opinion could add an entirely new perspective to the conversation. If you enjoyed this deep dive documentary into the royal family, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest royal analysis, royal history investigations, and behind-the-scenes stories from Buckingham Palace. Thank you for watching, and remember, in the world of royalty, the most important clues are often not found in official announcements, but in the quiet decisions that seem ordinary at first glance and only reveal their true significance much later. Until next time, keep watching, keep questioning, and keep exploring the stories behind the crown.